everyone, welcome back to our videos. We are from group 2. We'll present you the subject of professional development for English teacher about the topics namely collaborative and self-directed learning, implementing professional development teachers' perspective and institutional perspective. But firstly, let me introduce our member group. The first one is Daniel Josingoringo, and the second is Sinta Duyani Sirait, and then Johanna Patricia Salamana, and the last one is Fedi Malau. Well, I'm Sinta Duyani Sirait. We'll present you about the first slide, namely collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is a situation where there are two or more people learning or trying to learn something together. There are 4 traits of collaborative learning. The first one is teachers and students share information. The second, sharing duties and authorities. The third, the teachers as a mediator. And the fourth is heterogeneous group of students. There are some steps when doing collaborative learning in classroom. The first, students in groups set learning goals and divide tasks individually. And then all students in the group read, discuss, and write. And then collaborative groups work in synergy to identify, demonstrate, research, analyze, and formulate answers to tasks or problems in worksheets. And then after the collaborative group agrees on the results of problem solving, each student writes a complete separate report. And then the teacher appoints one group at random to present the results of their collaborative group discussions in front of the class. And the last is collected all the assignments that teachers give to the students group. The role of the teacher in the collaborative learning model is as the mediator. The teacher connects new information to the students' experience with the learning process in other areas, helping students determine what to do if students are having difficulties and helping them learn about how to learn. Thank you, and for next slide, we'll continue by my friend Feni Malau.
Okay, I'm Feni Malau. Will be continue the next slide. The advantage of self-directed learning, namely, A. Student can freely choose learning style according to their needs and interest in learning so that it will make it easier for students to more quickly understand the subject matter that they will learn. B. Student can freely search for learning research from anywhere, not only based on the learning research provided by the teacher. C. Self-directed learning makes students to be independent and responsible in solving problems they have, such as problems in environment or problems in learning, so that students' minds are more creative in creating new ideas to solve the problems they face, and students will get used to it. D. Students are free to choose the subject matter they want to learn according to their knowledge and according to their needs, not according to the needs of others. That way, it will make students feel at home and comfortable in learning. The disadvantage of self-directed learning, namely, A. Students who are basically lazy to learn will be stupid because if given a self-directed learning method to students who are lazy to study, then it will make students recline to learn. Lazy students will be more indifferent and relaxed and prefer to just play games, so that will affect the quality of students learning. Like stupid students will get very bad grades because they never study. B. Stupid students will find it difficult to choose suitable subject matter according to their knowledge because not all students know the extent of their knowledge, so it will be difficult for students to choose subject matter that suit their needs. There are 3 learning plans for self-directed learning, namely for the first one planning, for the second one monitoring, and for the third evaluation. Implementing professional development. Implementation in professional development is activity done with planning and refers to rules to achieve the purpose of an education. Bottom line, implementation can be met when there is a learning plan or concept to do. Implementation of the professional development plan is expected to achieve maximum goals and get good results from implementation process, emphasize on planning system or mechanism. The purpose of implementation is to implement and implement your prepared learning plan.
Alright, I will continue to the next slide is implementing the professional development. Implementing in professional development is activity done with planning and refers the rules to achieve the purpose of an education. Implementation of the professional development plans is expected to achieve maximum goals and get good results from the implementation process, emphasis on planning system or mechanisms. The purpose of implementations is to implement purpose learning plan.
Thank you guys, and I want to continue from our presentations. Okay, teacher perspective. In this respect, competent in defining its knowledge, skill, and ability under this control of the person who has become part of himself, enabling him to perform better cognitive, affective, and psychopathic behaviors. Competent for teacher for educational purpose generally relate to the four aspects. Number 1, pedagogy, professional, personally, and social competence. Okay, next, institutional perspective. From an institutional perspective, teacher professional development is intended to stimulate, maintaining, and improve staff quality in solving organization's problem. In general, teacher development from an institutional perspective in staff development to increase in the success of the work of all the staff in the school and to make a planned or timely donation for the development of each individual teacher. Okay, next, objective of teacher development from an institutional perspective are as follows. Number 1, to develop educational institutions. The institutions here is to improve and achieve success in the work of the school staff. For example, school to become more an emphasis to state new students are attended to enter the school to achieve better learning outcomes. And the last, to improve student learning level from the better. The point here is to advance and increase the level of student achievements, such as increasing student knowledge and skill when studying at school, in school or educational institutions.
Well, thank you. I will continue for the next slide. The next slide is about case study. Case study of collaborative learning. The people involved in collaborative learning are teachers and students who take advantage of existing facilities at school. Each student is skilled in providing the knowledge he has. Each student exchanges opinions by providing an assessment of the ideas they have. In order to create a common goal, each student checks the work done. In the case of a collaborative learning study, it was found that teachers and students shared their information related to subject matter being discussed, where students and teachers both an extensive knowledge. Teachers and students share tasks, namely the teacher as a mediator and students as a heterogeneous. In the teacher mediator, as an intermediary in the learning process in the classroom, the teacher is good at using learning media used in teaching in the classroom. In heterogeneous, students have different knowledge, skills, and abilities so that each student can exchange ideas in solving problems or completing tasks given by the teacher. In collaborative learning, there are also students in each group taking part of the task. Its example is researching, analyzing, writing, reading, and discussing, which aims to solve the problems in the LKS for the example, or questions given by the teacher. After the group has agreed and agree with the results of the answers that have been obtained, each student takes his part by writing a report on the answer in their respective books. Then the teacher chooses one group to present the results of the discussions answer they have agreed on. Then the other groups listens, compare the results of the group presentation's answer. Thus, who come forward with questions that students do not understand or criticizing the answer presented by the advanced group, then the reports of each students are compiled by the group together. And finally, the reports that have been prepared done by the students in checked, commented on, and rated by the teacher. I think that's all. Thank you. And for the next slide, we'll continue by my friend.
Case study of self-directed learning, that a student is able to independent and responsible in solving problems, face both problems in learning and problems in the environment without interference from others, so that students' mind become creative in creating new ideas to solve problems faced by students and become accustomed to solving the problems faced. Students know what his needs are in learning. Students are free to use learning strategies that are suitable for him to use in their own learning, so that it makes students comfortable in learning. Students can organize themselves, for example, know how to solve the problems he faces in learning, know when it's time to study, when it's time to play, and when it's time to do schoolwork. The students are able to provide an assessment or interpret the learning outcomes that he did independently, whether it was successful or had reached the target in accordance with and learning objectives that students need and want. Students can freely choose any learning style that suits the needs of students' interests and need, making it easier for students to success in learning. The students can freely search of subject matter from various sources without relying on the search of the subject matter provided only teachers. In self-study, students are also free to choose the subject matter they want to learn, which is in accordance with their knowledge processed by students and according to the needs and interests of students. Found 3 steps that make it easier for students to carry out learning independently by using self-directed learning methods. Namely, students play in advance a place and time that is comfortable to use and learning, plan what material will be studied by students according to the student needs, and make a list of learning objectives. For the second one, the students monitor or observe the learning process they do independently. And for the last one, the results of the independently learning that he did have been successful in accordance with the learning objectives planned by the students.
Alright, for the summary of our material is: the first, collaborative learning is a situation where there are 2 or more people learning or trying to learn something together. And the second is, the meaning of self-directed learning is that a student has ideas independently and is responsible for the learning. And number 3 is, and the third is, implementations is professional development is activity done with planning and refers to the rules. And the fourth is, teacher perspective or competence is a blend of knowledge, skill, value, and attitude. And the last one is institutional perspective. Teacher professional development is instead to stimulate, maintain, and improve staff quality. And I think that's all about our material for today. Thank you for your attention and thank you for your time. Have a nice day.